Take these shapes and just apply them over tunes. And so, like for example, if I turn the page, I get a song called Crystal Silence. I have never heard that song in my life. It's by Chick Corea. All right, so it's probably cool. So maybe now I can look up that tune. But before I do that, or even after, it doesn't matter. The idea is like it's A minor 7. I know my A minor 7. Then it's E minor 7, F major 7, to B minor 7, to B flat major 7, to A minor 7. That's pretty cool. Now we have a tricky measure. We got one beat per beat, one chord per beat. We've got B minor 7, C, D7, E7, and then to A minor 7, to B flat major 7. That's a kind of a cool progression. Then it's repeat, so I could repeat it. Or, there's a second ending. I could go on to the next part. I could go through that and just enjoy myself playing this weird chord progression. All right. But so I mean, now that's, the first time I would just try to play the right chords and stuff. But then you can kind of try playing it with some rhythm. Ultimately, look, there will be a problem that'll come about in the long term. But don't worry about it right now. I'll tell you what it is, just so you know, you don't feel like you're doing something weird or wrong when it happens. Right now we're playing the same voicings over every song, and there's nothing to make one song distinct from another. Now, the strength here is that in reality, there is nothing that makes those chords distinct in their most fundamental state. All of these songs are made up of minor chords and major chords. That's it. If you look at them as seventh chords, you got your minor 7, major 7, and dominant 7. And all these songs are going to be made out of them. And then maybe they go, yeah, but I want a 9 in that minor chord. It's like, well, that's, what I mean? What you're doing now is you're making, it was a creative decision to say I want this minor chord in the first place. But then to make alterations or elaborations on the chords as they are is more just like whipped cream and nuts and the cherry and stuff. Fundamentally, you're only going to deal with these 3 kinds of chords and some rare exceptions, like a diminished 7 chord as opposed to a minor 7 flat 5. But there's not one. We haven't encountered that chord in any of the songs yet. So that's not our concern. It's tricky. We think I want to be all this crazy super musical or whatever, but they're just the chords themselves as they stand alone are musical, and we're just trying to play them, appropriately and correctly. So if I turn again, I'm gonna go at random. I'm gonna open the book totally at random. Freddie the Freeloader, page 151. This is why Countdown is a great song to practice. This is why Countdown is really good to practice for what you're doing. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 measures of B flat 7, then E flat 7, and back to B flat 7, F7, B flat 7, and A flat 7. That's actually kind of interesting there. So we had this 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and then to E flat 7, another measure, and then B flat 7. Then it goes to F7, so it's like a 5 chord, typical blues, to the 4 chord, and here's where it gets interesting. It goes to A flat 7. Cool? Otherwise, it's just a 12-bar blues, but it does have that one really neat substitution at the end. But then what you'll find that believe it or not, you'll come to a time when it might be harder to solo over songs that have very few chords, because you have to be interesting all the time over static chords, they're kind of less dramatic, right? Like if I have a one chord like this, I'm playing with these notes, and I kind of have to, if I want to be interesting, like imagine a song that's one chord forever. You know, you could be playing like, and you could try to jam for, but I mean, sooner or later you can be like, dude, I'm sick of hearing this chord, because when you're soloing, even if you're not playing the chord over and over again, you're playing the notes as they relate to the chord and everything. So it just, yeah, it becomes, you become excited to be like, oh wow, somewhere new to go to. You know, when you're playing. And that's the neat part right there, because that's the moment it's not a 12-bar blues. It's like. It's like, oh, that's cool. And then it goes back to the beginning. This, I mean, it could be a lot of fun. I mean, it is a lot of fun. But when you have a chord with a lot of changes, it keeps you on your toes, and every chord is a monumental one. I turned to 139 at random, but it happens to be a song that I like a lot. And you just go through it again. E flat 7, D7, G minor 7, A flat 7, A flat major 7, B major 7, D7, D minor 7, and G7. So anyway, here's what I'm getting at. You're right now you're building a very like intimate relationship with 3 chord qualities, and a lot of familiarity with 2 voicings, the A string and the E string. Now there's a lot of voicings, right? But we're just doing those 2, and you're more like chord centric right now rather than song centric. So rather than giving every song its own kind of identity, we're just trying to make sure that we give the chord its identity. Make sense? But what you really want to do is make solid the ability to just turn through pages and play tunes like this, for example. Fee, fi, fo, fum. A 1, a 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And I'm just using the voicings that we use. C7, F7, and then B flat 7. E flat 7, 3, 4 for another measure. Now we don't want to worry about tempo at first, but you know, when you got the chords well enough, you can get some tempo in there. Just this. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Now we got B flat minor 7. Now if I didn't know this, I'd have to, oh, okay, next A minor, oh, D7, get it, grab it. All right, E flat 7. And then, okay, and it goes on. So then it's like you turn to the next page. Next we got A fine romance. Now this one has a diminished 7. So for this week, I would look over to the next page maybe. We've got 500 miles high. Okay, E minor 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. To G minor 7. To B flat major 7. B minor 7 flat 5. To E7. To A minor 7. Now I have F sharp minor 7 flat 5. This is a cool progression. And then F minor 7 to C minor 7 to B7. The song starts over. And then it's the next page. You see what I mean? And it's like if what you find is that if you go like this, like, for example, if I look over at page 145, which is For All We Know. Again, I've never heard the song. Title sounds cool, so I should check it out. Then it goes E flat 6. Now, if I stutter in my ability to find that chord, That's what I want to fix this week. So make that your goal rather than finding out like where the 6th is in this case, or where the 9 is on that F9, which they're asking for later. Instead, just make sure you go E flat major 7 to C minor 7 to F7